I've missed half a recording yesterday, so I'll have to figure out how I'm going to fix that. Okay, so check in.
I didn't get nearly anything done last night compared to what I wanted to do. This interview, they needed a lot of papers that are fairly historical, so I put a lot of time into going back and looking at old email accounts trying to find things. But as much preparation in the day as I'd hoped, but I'm okay with accepting that it is what it is, and I'll get what I need, and I'll keep working on it as we go forward.
Mm-hmm. Good. Thank you.
I'm tired.
Okay.
We were up early so Ray could do dialysis because we have actually missed 3 days this week. So we can't miss anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went back to bed and basically have been up for about a half an hour.
Mm.
Oh
gosh.
Yeah, I always, when I go back to bed after he gets on the machine, it's when I sleep the hardest. And yeah, strange dreams. When he called me to tell me he was done, I thanked him because I really didn't want to move into that trailer. He said, why are you moving into a trailer? And I said, because we needed the trailer in order to have room to have the other baby. And he said, the trailer had more room than the house? And I said, no, we were putting the trailer next to the house, and you were making me stay in the trailer with the baby.
I wonder if all this with you being the baby and
I have a feeling that might be part of it,
cabin in the trailer.
yeah. So it was interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, sounds like it.
I'm bugged.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Mm-hmm. So I'll get some caffeine in me and I will be better.
There you go.
Hey.
Where does he go for dialysis?
The other room. We do it at home.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we do it at
they're
home.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, last night I was fragmented and frustrated, and I thought, I'm tired of feeling almost resistant to some pieces, and all my crap is scattered everywhere, and Kathy is so organized. So last night I didn't get done what I wanted to do, but this morning when I woke up, I went to bed last night with a single thought in my head of God. I saw a whole wall of faces as I was going to sleep. I didn't recognize any of them, but I thought, it's going to be okay. And I just thanked for what was. Went to sleep, woke up and with the most profound, calm center in my gut that it's all fine and that it's okay as long as we keep opening ourselves up to allow a little more in at a time, whatever we can tolerate at the time. That's progress, and it's okay. Because what we're learning today, I could not even, it would be like trying to understand Chinese to me 5 years ago. So as long as we keep open, it's all going to be okay. And that was the message, and such a wonderful, calm presence this morning. I'm so grateful. Thank you all.
She says organized. You should see my office. It looks like a bomb went off. Got everything scattered around, books and papers, and I'll have to take tomorrow. And but when I got home, I was really tired, and I do the wrong thing. Take the books in bed because I went right to sleep. But I woke up at 4 o'clock, and so made some coffee, and I've been up since 4, and I'm not feeling too bad. It's pretty good.
Good.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I am very scattered. I'm glad that I took the classes this week, and I really enjoyed. I mean, I know I'm here, but I feel like I'm there. Okay. I've enjoyed getting to hear each one of you and getting to know each one of you better. I'm looking forward in weeks to come when I can really concentrate on this stuff. I practiced, I rehearsed last night. I've got the songs down. I still don't have what I'm going to say together, and I'm just going to wing it. I still don't have any refreshments. I need to set tables up. I need to set chairs up. So it's going to be what it is. But I have nothing finished as far as finals or anything that's going to have to come in time to come. So I'm here.
That's good. You know, and it'll be beautiful, and there'll be people here to help you do whatever you need to do. Okay? Wow, we lost you.
This out because it means a lot to me. It was, I guess, in 29, I went on my first cruise. It was my 45th birthday. And I woke up ported in Jamaica, and I took a walk, and I ended up on a beach with a Jamaican man and a couple ladies that I met. We got started talking about childhood, and we were talking about what we got spanked with as a child. And he put mine to shame. He went over and got this palm branch that was razor sharp. I could not imagine being whipped with that palm branch. But he made me a birthday present out of that palm branch, and it's meant the world to me, and I've kept it ever since.
Wow.
And I don't know if you can see that bird.
Oh, my goodness.
Cool.
Yep.
That means the world to me.
Yeah.
He ripped that palm branch up in little bitty pieces, and he made a bird out of it.
Cool.
And I thought, now what a lesson that is, to take something that he was whipped with as a child that left scars on his legs and to make it into something that beautiful.
Wow.
That's transformation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But anyway, that's what I wanted to share. It means I made a little nest for it. It's got a little flower in it, and it sits in my curio cabinet.
Oh.
Anyway, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Karen, good morning.
Good morning. It's good to be back with you all.
Good to have you back.
Thanks. Really enjoyed the class. I wish I could have been sitting in. I've gotten to know you all a little better, and I really appreciate that. I'd like to share something. I'm in Charleston, West Virginia with my mother, and we're getting ready for her 95th birthday, and we've been cooking and cleaning, and oh my goodness, and the party keeps growing, and it's going to snow today, and I called up the minister where my mother still goes to church there, and I used to go to church, and I said, can we have the party in the church? And he said, oh yeah, come on over. So we got this really nice hall. You know, I asked him how much. He said, oh, I think you all have paid up because my parents have paid. So we got it for free, and, you know, these, my brother's friends are coming in, and they're going to do the tables and all that. So I felt like, you know, so many things were just such a blessing, and yesterday I went for a walk, and this is kind of an idyllic little neighborhood, and it's got young people and old cats, and you know, everything is out blooming, and it's kind of a long story, and I'll give you the short version. Is that there was a guy on a motorcycle, and he was all dressed in black, and a black motorcycle, and he was driving around like at 90 miles an hour. I mean, and in this neighborhood, it's like unheard of. And then a police car had to go following him with the siren on about 90 miles an hour. And it was like, oh my goodness. So I was trying to get out. I was right in the middle of it all. And I was trying to get out of the way. So I went down one way. Well, so did they. And actually, the motorcycle almost hit me. And so then the police who was behind him stopped and said, did you see where the motorcycle went? And I said, yeah, that way, because he almost hit me. He sped off. And this lady comes up to me. She's about my age. And I kind of felt like I even knew her. I do know some of the people around here. But she said, you're right in the middle of something. And I said, I know, I'm really trying to get out of here. And she said, look, she introduced herself. She told me where she lived. She says, get in the car and let me help you. I said, okay, you know, I'm glad to do that. We had a nice little chat. She brought me home, and I just said, I really want to thank you for your kindness. And she said, I always try to be kind to people. She said, that's what I do. And it just, I mean, even saying it brings tears to my eyes because, you know, that's a really big part of my life too, is that wherever I am, like if somebody is having trouble at the grocery store or something like that, I just help people. Mm-hmm. So I felt like, you know, that consciousness was returned to me, and I, at a time when I really needed it, I could have been into something. So I just felt like, I just felt so grateful. I just felt that was what we talk about, the laws and the principles and all that stuff. That's the laws in action right there.
Yeah.
So you were on foot. You were on foot in the midst of all this?
Yes, I was walking.
My goodness.
I was walking. Mm-hmm.
Wow. That was amazing.
Karen, I can't wait to get to know you better. I had so much fun with you and Donna the other night. That was just as cool as fun. And I can't wait to get to know you better.
I think we ought to have a reunion, don't you? We'll all get down to Louisville, and I want to hang out with you all too. So we'll just have a little LUT retreat or spiritual retreat, just hanging.
There you go.
And I still couldn't tell you what we were laughing about. I think we were just laughing because it felt good to laugh.
Yes. Laughter yoga comes in there. All right. Wow. Thank you all for, and just thank you all for being here, because for me, this week's been really good. You know, when I teach, I learn so much more, and there's always something new that comes through in all the classes. And so really it's a blessing for me to get to also revisit all the material, because I, like you, the first time I took it was like overwhelmed. And even, you know, teaching it the first time or the second time, you still, you know, things are still percolating and it comes through. But the more I get to do it, the more I actually learn and open to that consciousness a little bit more. So.
Valerie, are we going to be tested on all this at some point?
The way the testing works is that
Thank you for this.
you will have to answer questions from various classes for your LUT. But what they do is they'll send you a study guide of the information that they'll be asking or possibly asking on the exam.
So if we know that, we'll pass?
Yes.
Thank God. I'm not saying, but I'm saying there's a way.
You will be given a study guide.
Is it an essay type testing?
Some of it, so there's two different phases. There's the essay type, and they'll give you a study guide for that. And then there's what's called skills and demonstration. And that's where you actually go and you present in front of a group of your peers and ministers and, you know, so your classmates that you're at SDS, you're at C-Week with, and which is leadership. You'll present to them and some ministers who are critiquing people, and they all have guidelines they have to follow. And and the topic typically is your choice of what you get to present, if I remember correctly. I did the power of power, faculty of power, when I did mine. And that's really it. And then, you know, you have to take the 3 C-level classes. I'm not sure if they're going to
that
leadership classes.
Okay.
There's 3, and you can take all those in 1 year. They offer them at 3 different times in a year period. So you could take all, and that's what I did. I took all of them in 1 year.
But Unity.
Currently, they're being offered at Unity Village. I
neat.
do not know how that's going to change in the future. I think that they'll be offered more online, because when I was going through field licensing, we did a lot of our classes with the ministers on staff at Unity, but we did them via online class, like we're doing now. So I think some of that may, and it just depends on, it might be a slower progression for that, but eventually it'll all be on real time.
With
virtual.
what you guys were saying, and if you don't really know till June, just stop me. So now, like, there's going to be a hotel, but it's run by somebody else, and the school's run by somebody else, and it's all kind of fragmented, or going to be, or under, farmed out to different folks.
So there are two entities at the moment. There's Unity Village,
Mm-hmm.
which is Unity Worldwide Ministries, okay? And then there's Unity, I'm sorry, wait a minute, I got that wrong. There's Unity Headquarters, which is where the village is at, okay? And then there's Unity Worldwide Ministries, which was originally the Association of Ministers and Churches, okay? And at Unity Headquarters, they also did the village grounds, education, and
Silent Unity.
Unity Publishing.
Yeah.
And there is a church there, but it's
Yes.
a Unity Chapel. But it's separate. The church is now separate from the villages. And so what they've done is they have these different organizations underneath the village, and Unity Headquarters decided that they were not the best vehicle for the educational component. And so they decided that in 2016 they were no longer going to have the education at the headquarters. And so Unity Worldwide Ministry stepped in and said, well, we're the ones that ordain the ministers, so we're going to be the ones that are going to educate them. So they stepped in and took over the education part. And that's what's in transformation right now.
Okay.
Yeah, which also includes LUT. So all the education component has moved from Unity Headquarters to Unity Worldwide Ministries.
Thank you.
I talked to the lady who, and I can't remember her name in the second, who is head of LUTs, and she said that if there's anything really different from what we've already started, they will gradually bring us along, but they want to strive to keep it the same, so there'll be continuity.
Right. And that's Shirley Kennedy, and she's really good.
Shirley Kennedy.
Yeah.
She's sweetie.
And she knows what's going on. And the goal is to keep it streamlined and to get people through whatever they're already doing with ease and grace without a lot of disruption.
That's great.
Yeah.
I felt very much that she was very sincere in that too, Valerie, so I'm glad to hear you say that too.
Yes. The ministry, Worldwide Ministries, is very sincere in that. And Deborah Fraunfelder, and I didn't say that right, who was in charge of the education component at Unity Worldwide Ministries, is now the executive director over all education. So
cool.
I'm really comfortable with that transition and know Deborah and know that her expertise will help keep everything in continuity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And Valerie, I have one question I've wanted to ask somebody.
Uh-huh.
When I took my state boards, what we were told is that if we didn't pass the test, we can wait, whatever waiting period it was, and go back and test again.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, I did pass, but I had a comfort that this wasn't going to be my last chance, So going into this test, what do they do if you don't quite make their grade? Do they just help you and give you feedback, or let you retest? Or
Yes.
It ain't all or nothing.
It ain't all or nothing. They'll tell you what you need to work on, and they'll just help you through the process, whatever that is. Yeah.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay, so let's get into the creation story. So yesterday we kind of left off at Genesis 2:1 through 3. Thus the heavens and earth were finished in all their multitude, and on the seventh day God finished the work that he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all the work he had done. So God blessed the seventh day and hallowed it. Because of it, God rested from all the work that he had done in creation. These are the generations of the heaven and earth when they were created. We talked about this a little bit yesterday and how that's the two consciousness, but let's take it a little bit deeper today. So the Sabbath is the rest of God. And it's the rest from the 6 mental steps or the mind movements. God, Elohim,
Elohim.
thank you, creates the spiritual universe and spiritual man. God has created the ideas and patterns of the formed universe. And Jehovah God executes what Elohim God has created. I am our spiritual man. So the Jehovah God manifests forming a man called Adam.
So are they actually saying are they saying two different gods?
There's two different consciousness of God.
Oh,
Okay. Gotcha.
Weren't they written by two different sources, maybe? The J source and the...
No.
No,
this is
okay.
all out of the same story.
No.
And this goes back again to what we were talking about before, the fact that God created the idea of the universe,
Right.
and we created,
Right.
and we being
God.
Jehovah God.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the two consciousnesses of the same element of God.
You know, at this point, this is the first time I've seen this in my mind. I saw it. You know how you get it. I just saw three consciousness, right? Jehovah, Elohim, and Adam.
Right. Well, Adam
So
is...
it's really...
Go ahead.
Oh, so at this point, is Adam still in his purified state, and can we say that is just another creator God?
Well, Jehovah God manifests the form as a man called Adam, and that is our physical sense, materialistic, the physical man, Adam, consciousness. So the Adam consciousness is the consciousness of man, of our humankind.
So would it almost be like mind, body, spirit?
Pretty much so, yeah.
Yes.
So the mind is the Elohim.
Mind? How would that be?
Yeah, because Jehovah's expressing
Yeah. So Elohim is the thought.
Right.
Jehovah is the
I am, the
expression.
expression.
And Adam is body manifestation.
Right. So that is the
So
Trinity.
yeah, it's a trinity.
Yeah. So mine.
In Buddhism, it's very well laid out too. It's the three kayas, and it goes right along with this.
Right. It's this, Adam is the sense consciousness. I couldn't think of, boy, I'm asleep this morning myself. Okay. So the Sabbath. We had some questions about, I think, this yesterday. So the Sabbath is the consciousness that we have fulfilled the divine law in both thought and action. By the act.
That's really our release. We've done the work just like then. Divine Mind had finished the work, although nothing was manifested yet.
Right.
Then the rest came, and the assurance that it would come to pass as Divine Mind had anticipated, right?
Mhm.
And then, yeah, that release. That's so important. You know, not to keep niggling at it, but to let go and rest assured that all will work out.
Mhm.
And not be attached to how that comes about. It doesn't have to be my way.
Mhm.
That something better can think of something even cooler.
Right. Yeah. It's when our attachments, when we are attached to it, that we limit ourselves.
Yes.
When we're attached to the outcome is when we limit ourselves. So it is a state of mind that man enters or acquires when he goes into the silence of his own soul, into the realm of spirit. There he finds true peace, true rest and peace. The seventh day means the seventh or perfect stage of one's spiritual unfoldment. Man had become so lost in the darkness of sense consciousness that he could not save himself, so a Savior came. When man lays hold of the indwelling Christ, the Savior, he is raised out of the Adam consciousness into the Christ consciousness. Then he enters the seventh stage of his unfoldment where he finds rest and peace. The Sabbath can be enjoyed at any hour. Man shows his ignorance and limits his happiness by confining the Sabbath to any one day of the week. He should learn to read the Bible in the spirit and pay less attention to the letter of it. And that's from Charles Fillmore.
So there's your wrong day of the week, Shelley.
Yeah. The Sabbath as an institution was established by man. God does not rest from his work every seventh day, and there is no evidence that ever.
Sorry, I'm closed today.
Gone fishing.
I love it. That's great. You call it Sabbath. Nobody's answering because it's the Sabbath.
Reminds me of the Jim Carrey movie where all the messages are coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His work every seventh day, and there is no evidence that there has ever been a moment cessation in the activity of the universe. Those who stickle most of the seventh day observance are met with every hand by the evidence of the perpetual activity on the part of him who they claim to champion. So it doesn't matter what day you go to rest. If you go into that place of silence and meet with the Creator, then all answers are there.
So Valerie, on a material level, human world we're in now, like tonight, my album release, would that be my Sabbath, or would tomorrow be my Sabbath when it's over and I'm resting?
Well, that's up to you.
Could be both. Have you released what's going to happen today? Have you said, I've done everything I can do, and now it's created?
I think that that's going to happen the minute I step on the stage.
Right. That's your answer.
Okay.
Because we're really talking about consciousness, right? That we can be in that abiding consciousness even. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Starts at 7.
Because like Shelley said, you did it when you let go of your attachment to your album case also.
Yeah. Yeah.
You released it.
So
Yes.
I get what you're saying. It's in every moment
Yes.
that we rest in.
Gotcha.
Yes.
It's not a timeline. If I got when I get to there, I'm done.
No. There's no, it happens consistently. It never ceases. We're always in that place of rest if we choose to be. It's a state of
That's like being abiding in our inner refuge. It never leaves us. We leave it in consciousness, but not really.
right.
Oh, that's awesome.
We see the separateness, and it's not, that doesn't really exist.
The separation doesn't exist. I love that. Sorry for the phone call.
It's okay.
That's awesome.
Well, I choose to have it tomorrow as well while I'm laying on the couch watching movies.
And that's the physical being. All right. And on the seventh day, God finished his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all of his work which he had made. And God blessed the seventh day and hallowed it. This quotation from Genesis presents in concise words a law that pervades the universe. According to some geologists, the rock-ribbed earth beneath our feet bears record of 6 great creative periods, with the 7th in the process of completion. 7 movements of the creative law are found at the foundation of the world about us. The 7 colors of the spectrum, the 7 principal tones of music, the 7 senses of man. 2 not yet universally used. All point to these degrees or days of action and rest.
So what are the 2 senses that we don't use?
I knew somebody was going to ask me that, and off the top of my head right now, I don't know.
Let me see if I can look it up.
But I will find out.
Okay.
And it may come next.
Yeah. What are the 7 principal tones of music?
The-
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, is that?
Yeah, but it's all,
That's 8.
it's
Oh,
the,
It's
the chakra,
when you do the chakra tones from the
it's
top to the bottom.
Yahweh,
It's
it's
on
Yahweh,
That makes
it's
it very memorable.
Yahweh,
Really?
yeah. And it's
You know, I work with, oh,
I'm not a,
sorry, go ahead.
go ahead. Somebody who's a musician may know the answer.
Well, I was just going to say I work with Tibetan sound healing, and it's Om, Hong, Ram, Za at 5 chakra locations down the body. It's very beautiful.
Then you've also got your ABCD, your scale, your musical scale.
Correct. And I don't know all those either.
No, it's like 7, and then it repeats from there and goes into different, semitones.
Yeah.
Okay, I looked up the 7 senses, and one website says the normal 5, and then intuition, and then equilibrium.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Of music?
No,
No,
of our,
7
our
senses.
senses.
Yeah.
I would think the music would be your musical notes, wouldn't it? I mean, A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about here, but there are also the sounds with the chakras, the 7 chakras.
Yeah.
And 2 of those probably are not used.
And those change according to culture, and culture
Right.
different than it is in some of the Buddhist texts, and even within the Buddhist texts, they'll have different tones for each chakra.
Right.
I'm sorry, I know more about Buddhism than I do other things. Sorry.
No, I actually, Karen, that's really good because I had always studied the Vedic, and recently, just when I got the crystal bow the other day, we learned about the Himalaya difference, and I wasn't aware that that existed until just like a week ago. So, like I said, you learn something.
Our culture wants to put everything in a happy bow and wrap it up, but that culture is not that way. So it changes according to the text, because the text will have, so you're saying it changes according to the goal. Like if you want to, what realm or what state of consciousness you want to go into, or what realm you want to go into, there's different pathways.
Right.
Just to make it complicated.
Yeah.
And of a guess, I would think the 2 senses we don't use would be probably intuition and telepathy.
Well, intuition.
That's a guess.
It's
Definitely
telepathy
one.
part.
Telepathy could be one. I think about them could be what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, this is interesting. Beans picture every day.
When man in his wisdom unites his thought with divine mind, as did Jesus, he has the power to use the same creative law that God uses in bringing forth the universe. The 7 elements of the body are found everywhere, and through understanding that they are not fixed material things, but forms of thought, man gains entrance to a realm where he can speak words that will give him the obedience of those elements according to his power.
We must look like klutzy little 12-month-old trying to walk around, all of a sudden they'll fall on their bottom and then get up again. That's how I feel like I create right now. I don't have that. The klutziness goes away the more spiritually developed we become.
Yeah.
I just wish it looked that cute when I did it.
When you have gained power to still the stormy, undisciplined thoughts in your mind, you can speak to the winds and they will obey you. When you have arrested the scorching currents of anger that burn up your body cells, you can quench the fire in a burning building. When you have ceased to drop into the weak, watery mental states called discouragement, despondency, and fear, you can command the waves and walk upon the waters as Jesus did.
Wow, that's good.
And this is Charles?
This is Charles. It's out of the metaphysical book.
The Metaphysical Bible Dictionary? This one?
I think it's out of metaphysics. I think I took this
okay.
out of metaphysics,
I love this.
but I think it's out of Charles. I think that is actually out of Teach Us to Heal, if I remember correctly. You know, at this point, I don't know where it got, but I think it's from Teach Us to Heal. I got it out of metaphysics. All right.
You know, it's saying too that we're not different in the type of elements we are. Like the fire within me, daggone it.
It's okay.
The fire within me is no different than the fire of the sun. It is just different in amount, not in kind. You know, so when we look up at, when we need inspiration, when we need a sense of spaciousness, you know, we can go to the elements and receive that very literally because we are of the same. We're the same.
Right. Yeah. And when we use the elements in our powerful state, then that's when we can create the miracles.
And the elements are earth, air, fire, and water.
Yes.
It makes sense that we have to just start with us and get good at that before we can really.
Those are some of the most profound, those elements are some of the most profound things you find in song as well.
True.
Yeah. But like as Robin said, if we can't control our thoughts, how can we control the elements? So the first thing we have to learn how to do is that baby step as we're toddling along and you know, learn how to control our thoughts.
Wow.
And that's where the power comes from, learning how to control the thoughts, resting, taking the Sabbath within ourselves to gain that power and understanding and wisdom to do that, being awake and aware, and then manifesting it outward by using the elements in a powerful, positive way.
Focusing. I think, like this morning, I was driving on the expressway, and I was thinking about so many things that I don't even remember getting on 64 or how I got there, and I had to stop myself and say, am I on 64? It's like, who's driving the car?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a dangerous place to be because
Yeah.
that's when in our system, that's when we, you know, tend to have wrecks is when
Yeah.
we're not being focused or we're
Right.
trying to multitask. We're not doing
It
things.
doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
I love that part that says when you have ceased to drop into the weak, watery mental states called discouragement, despondency, and fear. I forget when I'm in those places how fragile they are because they feel so strong to me when you're in that kind of hopeless place or hope limited place, maybe is a better way, but to see them called weak and watery and they're in those low vibrations.
Yeah.
So I mean, literally, I'm going to start when I rarely get in those places. I'm going to start physically toning
There you go.
to do that because it breaks up whatever is in the air. I've been in a really bad place where people were really into the political talk and it was really heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden a woman just started toning. And it just shattered that like it was nothing. And the energy immediately went back up. So I think toning is really, that sound healing, Karen, I think you got it, girl.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I've noticed with the grandfather that I don't necessarily think I've noticed so much with the regular crystal bowls that we have at home, and I think they probably do it, but in a different way. When the grandfather is singing and I put my hands to the side, I can actually feel the energy coming off of that bowl in a very strong, powerful way.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just that I've never tried it with the other bowls because I haven't thought of it, but I mean, it's amazing. You can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
It tingles, and it's really cool. And so, you know, and it's like, okay, if that kind of a vibration is coming off of this gorgeous crystal bowl, what kind of energy is coming off of me that is affecting everything in the air around me if I'm upset or if I'm angry or if I'm sarcastic? Or, you know, what kind of vibrations am I putting out of my body that's affecting everything around me?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd never felt that sensation with the bowl before. And if we're all alike and we're all putting out our vibration, that's what people are feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And so it makes sense to make sure that those vibrations are uplifting rather than discouraging.
Right. You know, with the vibrational rate in our state of consciousness, I show it when I'm doing resilient families at least once a semester, how with the dowsing rods.
Yes, I love it.
Because, you know, it really people can visibly see when their thoughts are happy. The dowsing rods, if yes is a positive for you, the dowsing rods are typically very open. And when you go to the negative state, they cross. And it's very apparent when you're using dowsing rods to show people what the state of the energy around them that they're putting off when it's a good visible. Yeah.
Thank you. That was
It's a good way to show people how their emotional states affect those around them.
well, you can feel it when you walk in a room. I know at work,
Mm-hmm.
and it was all mostly chemical and mechanical engineers. And if I had to do a presentation in front of them, I would walk in, and the first thing I did was I didn't realize this, was to pick up the feeling in the room
Mm-hmm.
so I would know where they were at. And you do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If you walk in somewhere and it doesn't feel good, you know it.
Mm-hmm. So being a woman in the steel industry, like I was for so long,
Oh, yes.
I would walk in a red suit to the sea of black. Intentionally.
Yes.
Because it shook up the energy in the room.
It does. It does.
And then I was on an even playing ground. Because if I walked in and I was like them, then it was just, but if I walked in that presence of vibrance and life, it shifted. Huge difference.
It's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah.
And people used to say, no, you really should dress more conservatively. And I say, yeah, well, that's your opinion, and I don't agree. But I consciously did it so that I would be on an equal playing ground.
Yes. I learned at a body language seminar that if you go into a conference room or whatever, to take up more space, to sit on a corner. If you come in the next day and you sit where a man has sat the day before on his, because they naturally will spread out, it will upset them to no end. And we did it as an experiment because the teacher talked to us, and it's so funny. If something that tiny can make a difference, so much more to be intentional, as you say. Right. Although I can't even imagine you being sarcastic. Oh. It's one of the things that I make amends for the most. Oh. You make us laugh, God. So colors have energy.
Colors have lots of energy.
So if a person, for instance, is drawn to wearing things like dark blue and brown and black and gray, does the choice of those colors say something about that person's consciousness?
I would say that person is conservative.
Grounded was the word that came to me.
And trying to blend in. Because those are very naturally dark, blending type colors.
So would a choice of adding more color to a person's wardrobe help to change energy and consciousness?
I think it does.
Yes, it could.
I think
I
it
do
could.
believe
You
it.
know,
Because-
what popped into my mind when
What?
you said that is Diane that comes every Sunday. Do you ever notice how she dresses?
Or Elaine Wood. Oh my gosh.
Diane is always bright
Correct. Yeah.
and just always.
And her
I look
personality
at her
is
and I
also
just
that
like
way.
I get energy from looking at her.
And sometimes when you don't feel well, you know, physical body feeling well, or you're tired or something, and you put on the vibrant color, it brings you to life.
There was a lady who worked at the Rainbow Blossom and gave me a little card years ago that had each day was a different color.
Mm-hmm.
I can't exactly remember, but pink was one day and blue another, and was supposed to have something to do with the energy levels and, you know, the days of the week. So I don't know how true that is, but
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know either. But I do know that colors have energy. Because
Yellow.
it's like the bowl that I got. The vibrancy of the heart chakra colors, which are the greens and the pinks, are present very much so in that bowl. And if it didn't have those colors, it would not be as vibrant. If it didn't have those elements that created the colors, it would not be as vibrant as it is.
That's a good question. I need to
Mhm.
go through my entire wardrobe. I need to go shopping, and I hate shopping.
Look at
I
it
would-
a
I'm
different
one of those
perspective. Perspective.
So instead of shopping, what we're doing is for the elements that will raise our vibration.
There you go.
Yes. Oh, I like that.
Mhm.
Because I'm the kind of person, when you ask the question, if I had 7 outfits in my closet and they were polo shirts and comfortable pants, I'd be happy. They could all be same color. I don't care. Because I don't care about dressing up. I've always been more of a tomboy kind of personality.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I could be happy never change it. If they's clean and I had clean underwear, I am good to go.
Right. Yeah. And that's okay.
And here's Elaine. We've laughed about that. I said, you're like the Barbie doll, and I'm so not. Because she is virus. She looks great, and I don't care.
Right. And it's not that you don't care. That's not true, because you do care. Because I can tell that by your personality, by the way you present yourself. You do care. If you didn't care, you'd be out there drungy, and so you do care. So there's a difference. What you like is comfort.
Yes, more than anything.
And so that's good. That's not bad. And what she likes is is the elegance. There's no
Yes.
difference. There's difference in the presentation, but you're still, it's what you like. It's what that comes out and makes you feel good.
So
You feel good,
personality's involved.
Yeah, you
Right,
feel
right.
good comfortably. She feels good elegantly. No difference. You're still.
I've always said that comfort is a style of its own. Comfort is its own style.
Yes.
I've always thought that.
Yes.
Hmm.
But that doesn't, just because you're
Doesn't mean you don't
comfortable,
care.
doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean that it can't
Right.
be vibrant.
right.
Because your polo shirts could be neon green instead of brown.
Right.
Yeah. I can't wait to go change our vibrations.
Have you ever had your
You know,
they tell you what colors you
Uh-huh.
should wear and which ones?
I haven't, because I always figured mine would just tan.
Mine are earthy. But there's vibrance in earth colors.
This reminds me of going shopping the other day. I've always liked the bright colors, and
Yay!
when I practiced with Philip on Sunday, I stood up on that huge stage with that black curtain, and Philip was like, "You need a gown," and I'm thinking, a gown? I've never worn a gown. A gown, really? And he's like, "Yeah, it needs to be full length and flowing. This is a huge stage. You need to wear a gown." So I thought, my goodness, so I went shopping because I thought, a gown? And I thought I wanted colors because it's a black curtain.
Uh-huh.
Okay? But what you get into is having to try everything on.
Right.
And what fits, and when you're up on stage moving around, you don't want to worry about things coming out, that aren't supposed to. And so I ended up with it's beautiful, but it's navy blue, so it is dark.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is a dark color. It's kind of understated, but I guess being the fact that it's a gown, maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Where are you doing this, Donna?
Tonight at Unity. They have a gymnasium in Unity of Louisville, and the stage is huge.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. But I do have a beautiful gown, and let me tell you the miracle. That gown was the most expensive gown out of all the gowns I tried on. Okay, we go to the register. She rang up that gown, and she goes, "Hang on a minute." She went over and grabbed another one off the rack, and she scanned it, and it scanned full price. And she goes, "I don't know what's going on." And she cleared everything out, and she scanned mine again. She said, "I don't know what's going on, but this is what I'm charging you because this is what it scans." I got a $200 gown for $39.95. I was like, yes!
That is prosperity manifestation.
It's a miracle.
That's
Yeah.
Go.
action.
Wow! You can write
Yeah.
homework.
That's your homework.
There you go. And to top it off, I mean, I thought I was doing good when I went into Dairy Queen to get a cup of coffee, and the girl came and said, "Here's your coffee. Because you had to wait, it's free." I mean, I was thrilled with a free cup of coffee.
It's the beginning of all the other manifestations to come.
That's right.
Well, I'm ready. I'm so ready. Thank you, thank you.
Anything else anybody has on creation? What else?
That was awesome.
Can I say just one thing?
Yeah.
On the discouragement and despondency,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes
Wait a minute. Our auto. Okay, it's back. Say it again.
sometimes our imagination creates things that make us discouraged or despondent that aren't really real. Suppose with a situation or a person, we're thinking they think a certain thing, and they're not really thinking that. And we get all bent out of shape about it maybe. Then we find out, hey, that wasn't true at all. That person didn't have that thought with me or situation. But our imagination carries us away into realms that, unless we catch it, we can get stuck,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
So,
It's one of the things that we're working with in the metaphysics class
Yeah.
tonight. We're doing the 12 powers, and we were each supposed to pick 3 powers.
Right.
And the chart in the book shows how you can use that from your sense consciousness for evil,
Oh.
Right.
and how you can use it in the spiritual consciousness for good.
Mhm.
What you're describing is the sense consciousness use of imagination.
Right.
yeah.
And we do that all the time.
That's right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it happens more than not. And I've noticed in myself the last 3 years, I've really fallen into it. And I guess in writing, I came up with the theory that it's kind of like being afraid of your shadow.
Mhm.
It's just a shadow on the ground, but you're making it into scary shapes that it's not even there.
Yeah.
And I saw a little video on a little 2-year-old girl, and she was on the beach, and her shadow was 10 foot tall, and that little girl was throwing a hissy fit, just screaming her lungs out over that shadow. It was so cute. That reminds me of me.
And that's it. Even like Daisy, my dog, she barks at her shadow
Yeah.
and runs around in circles. So does her shadow, but she's still having a fit, trying to catch it.
That's like our new little kitten who's like a year old. She'll see her reflection in the patio door and think it's another cat
Right.
and
Oh, yeah.
run at that door trying to get that cat to go away. And the more she runs at it, the more it runs at her, and it freaks her out.
Right. Yeah.
Because she hasn't figured out yet and may never figure it out. She does the same thing with mirrors. She
Yes.
sees a cat in a mirror and that cat has to go away.
Right.
But it never works.
Because that's that lower consciousness.
I run away from my mirror and it's a lot too.
I used to have a little dog, little Maltese, and first time she ever saw herself in a mirror, I always say it was when she discovered she wasn't a human. Because she looked, and then she turned away, and from that point on, I could never get her to look in a mirror again. If I had her in my arms, she would never look in that mirror. It's almost as if, is that what I look like? You
Mhm.
know?
I look different.
I look different, you know? So it was interesting.
Could we be more surrounded by examples? And if we'll just, I feel like I've been going through with blinders on because all you have to do is look around. The words came to me, examples abound.
Examples abound.
In that little girl on the beach,
Mhm.
in our pets, in nature. I mean, unless you got hit upside the head by a 2x4, couldn't be much more. Wow. And sometimes it feels.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that led me to be such a recluse. It seemed like it just happened gradually. I didn't notice it, and suddenly I realized, especially being a contractor, not having a steady job that I went to every day, not having the same people that I saw every day, I just kind of became a hermit and so closed off. And suddenly I realized you cannot find peace by avoiding life. It doesn't work. Doesn't work.
That's right.
That's good.
Yeah.
Love this class. Well, and something that Karen said at the beginning with her story,
Uh-huh.
one of the things that, when we've talked about in church and when we've talked about in classes and we've talked about, it's kind of one of the things that Unity really talks about a lot is you get to find your path. What is it that you're here to do? And in my mind, that was always this huge, big, oh my God, what do I, in order for me to make a difference in the world, it has to be big. And I don't know what that is, and I don't think I'm up to it. And yet, the woman whose purpose in life is to be kind to everyone that she meets is the biggest purpose that anyone could ever have, because so few of us actually ever do that.
Mm-hmm.
And to make that your conscious purpose in life is huge. But it doesn't maybe look as big as, finding the God particle. But it probably has a whole lot more influence on a whole lot more people in a way that's more impactful.
And in that example, not to catastrophize because I don't know, but it could have saved my life.
Yes.
It was definitely in a risky situation. So, yeah, kindness works.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for bringing that up again.
Yeah. Last night when I was at Million Families, and we were doing a review of why we do what we do, and, because it's the last day. Next week is our last week for the semester, and we always have some kind of game night or something. So this was kind of like the review of everything for the semester. And so the first thing I said, one of the reasons why I'm here and I volunteer every week is because my mission in life is just to help people awaken to new consciousness living skills. And being conscious, helping people be conscious and make conscious decisions. That's my goal in life. That's my mission.
Well, you're good at it.
It's just to help people wake up and think about the choices in life that we have.
One of your spiritual personality is being able to be so relatable to people. You don't do it from here. You do it, you're so comfortable. You can be in the middle of 5 things and you still make people feel like they can approach you. That's a major gift.
I find that with you and Reverend Ray both. You're both so human. And that's what I cherish because it gives me hope for myself.
We are very human. Go ahead, Robin.
I agree. Very relatable and easy, and it makes me really look harder at areas of my life and the application to my life.
Good.
And please take that in the best sense, because I meant that as a huge compliment. I mean, you don't think you're better than anybody. You don't think because of your training that you're above anybody. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I knew that. I knew that.
I just had a flash of people actually knew how human Ray really was. Sometimes you might wonder a little bit. Good.
And he and I are in that same boat, so it's okay. We're conscious of our own personal developments, and I'll speak for myself. I'm conscious of my own personal development and my own conscious growth that I have moved through in this lifetime.
Yay.
And I still have things to grow through, and I still have levels of consciousness that I'm sure that are going to open up. But, you know.
This is almost like a video game where when you get to a certain part, a whole other world opens up.
Yes.
We're never going to be done.
And you know, it is like a video game too, because in a video game, usually one wrong move and you're sitting back. You end up, it's like, I've been here before.
So yes, our life, well, that's why we have video games to remind us.
Yes, examples abound.
You know, we need to make a Unity video game. That would be really cool.
That's part of your assignment then.
Well, we need to call Sunny because Sunny's the programmer, not me. You, Reverend Val, you could do that one.
Yeah. She's had computer programming too.
Oh man. Yeah, you gotta watch what you say around me. It'll turn into a project.
It's telling us we're laughing too loud.
Oh yes, we're laughing too loud. Sorry.
Oh.
We can take a 1-minute break, and then we're not going to be much longer. So, but we can have a 1-minute break. Yeah.
Oh, I can just go.
No, we'll take a
Second. You know, you guys, everything's getting pretty busy here, so I probably will be off for the day, and I really appreciate it, everyone, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you later.
Yay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We love you.
Thanks, Valerie.
And have a wonderful weekend.
Tell your mom happy
Thank you.
all
Yeah.
of us.
And happy birthday from Mom.
All righty. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I thought I'd give you all some time to work on your presentation. Correct class.
I think we're pretty much,
Pretty much done.
well, yeah. He's basically been watching us rehearse, and the time it's taking me to put this together, you all could have written some stuff. Right, he doesn't have to read.
Squash that.
He wants to squash our fun? Oh, no.
I'm gonna have to squash that type of enthusiasm. This is serious work. This is business.
Yeah, right. Wait do you see? We have plans for his class.
Yeah.
Very serious.
Told Kathy I'd have to squash this funness. This is serious business.
Some of the, when you hear the recordings, some of the stuff we get off on in creation
How you doing, kiddo?
can be pretty amazing.
I know.
We are talking about the sounds. There were, when we did the oneness training,
Uh-huh.
they had a sound for each chakra.
Right.
They did the mantras.
I know them when I sit down to do the chants.
Yeah.
Well, when I have to think about them, I don't know what they are. I'd have to look at them. And I know the the ah,
I've never seen it.
and the Himalaya is Yahweh, and I like that one because I can remember that one, Yahweh.
We got the collar. What is,
I don't know what your weather's doing there, but it is snowing like crazy here.
Is it snow?
raining?
It's raining here.
It is snowing here. I'll see if I can capture it out the window. I don't know if you can see it or not.
It's supposed to be, no, we can't see the snow. Well,
Yeah.
and Elizabeth, Indiana.
And try some on me, you know.
Snowing.
Snowing in Indiana?
It smells good.
That's where she lives at. It's raining here.
Well, and Karen said they were gonna get snow there too.
In West
She's
Virginia.
in West
We're
Virginia.
supposed to get
We're
snow
supposed to
tonight.
get-
We are?
Yeah, it's supposed to get to like 20 degrees tonight.
It'll be raining, and so it's supposed to be slushy snow. There'll be yucky stuff here.
My poor tulips, they just look awful. They were so pretty and almost ready to bloom, and now they're just laying over on the ground.
Okay, so
Hi, Jenny.
How are you? Jimmy, you're
Doing good.
break a leg tonight.
Oh, you.
That always scares me when anybody says that.
no, right,
Because it's bad luck.
right.
Really?
So you always say that. Great.
Yeah.
So I was trying not to say it.
Okay, okay.
All right, so our 7 steps of creation. So we're just going to kind of review this to make sure we all got it, which I'm sure we do at this point. So we have to have faith. That's our foundation, is the faith. And in that, we have to seek the guidance. So that means we have to be willing to go into that inner place, that inner silence, for that silence, that place of rest. We have to affirm the good, which is our strength. So we have to stand in our strength, knowing the good, that there's only good. And we have to use our imagination and begin to give it form through visualization. And then we have to understand the good and accept it. So it's not enough just to visualize it. We have to understand it, and we have to accept the good. That's hard for some in our society, for that to accept that good. It's where a lot of people get caught up in their abundance and prosperity consciousness. They get stuck there because they're willing to give and they understand everything. They can visualize it, but they're not willing to accept it. It can be as small as a thank you for a compliment that's given you. It can be as a gift that somebody gives you and you don't feel worthy of it for whatever reason. Just accept it for what it is, the good and the love coming to you.
That's a huge thing with me, Valerie. And I think a lot of it comes from waiting for the other shoe to drop, because life has conditioned you in a way that whenever it depends on where you were raised and your brain, how young you were when your brain was forming, I guess, your thoughts. But for me, it's like whenever something is that good, it was always a setup for something bad.
Right. So that's why you have to understand your good. You have to really understand it and know that it is good. And then you have to be willing to accept it. And you're right. A lot of us in the world, a lot of people, a lot of the consciousness in the world is if it's going to be that good, the other shoe's going to drop and something bad's going to come in.
Yeah.
That's a dualistic world. We don't live there. That's not our belief. If something is that good, then we just accept it for what it is, for the gracious gift from God.
Donna, have you read any of Brene Brown's work? Books. She's been on Oprah several times in different shows, but I love what she said. When something wonderful and joyful was going on with her children or in her life, she tamped it down by thinking, better not get too attached to this because something's coming down the road. And how she just says it in words that really speak to people. I think that's why she's so big currently. She really helps explain how that cheats you out of so many things.
Mm-hmm. And cheats you out of your good.
Yes.
Because you don't get to enjoy it because you're worried.
Yes.
You're worried. And worried is an anxiety, watery mental state that you don't need to have. But it takes conditioning and practice to get out of it. It takes a change of thought.
Yeah, because it's patterns of thought. It's the way, it's at a formative age when that's the way your mind is taught to think. It really does take a lifetime to get out of those patterns. It's like a waterway. If the water runs that way and it creates a stream and a rut that it runs in, you kind of have to disrupt the entire earth to make that water run somewhere else. So I think that's kind of the process I feel like I've gone through and I'm still going through.
Well, just know that it can change in an instant.
Thank you for that.
It's just a matter of being open and willing to accept a different way, a different path. And when the record comes up, affirm that it's not the truth. Deny that it has any power in your life and affirm the good. That's where affirmations and denials come in. Really good here. Because we deny at the fourth step, we can deny the power that anything has over us. We can deny the power of that thinking that we were conditioned in and affirm a change in our pattern of thinking for only the good.
Yeah. And I think awareness changes everything.
Yes.
Because I think I'm to the point where I can discount the thoughts, even if I have to write it out and just to throw it away or to purge it. What is even harder though is the subliminal, like the panic attack that goes on that I don't even notice, that I don't even know why it's happening.
Right.
And it's just in response. It's like it's so ingrained. It's almost like an instinct, you know, and that's even harder to stop. But I think it can change in an instant, and I'm finding that because the more aware you become, it just stops.
Right. So it's those, if you look, when you cease to drop into the weak, watery mental states called discouragement, despondence, and fear, you command the waves and walk upon the waters. So it's just having the power over those undisciplined thoughts that you're not even consciously aware of. So when you do recognize it, that's when you let it go. In that instant of awareness, let it go.
Cut its legs off. I was sitting, you know what came
Yep.
to me, Donna, was you are a powerful goddess.
Yes. And that's good. That's a good one. A powerful goddess is wonderful.
Yes, you are.
Yep.
That's why I wanted a gown and a power suit to wear so I could feel that.
Okay. I'm going to do this because I can. Let me put this up here. Do you know the power stance? Do you know what the power stance is? I don't know if you'll be able to see me. I'll
Wonder
stand right
Woman?
here. No, it's not Wonder Woman.
Oh, it's this.
Yes,
Yes,
it is.
yes.
The goddess.
Okay.
So that anytime you need power, and I teach this to the students at U of L, anytime that you're going into something, a situation, job interview, or you're going in for an interview for your master's, acceptance program or whatever,
No, you
just before your LUT, before you go in that morning when you get up, just stand and breathe, ground your feet, bring it all the way up, and just let the energy in. Just stand in that place of power, because that's it right there.
That feels very powerful.
It is very powerful, because you're letting all that energy between the earth and the spiritual just flow.
First time I ever saw that was in a class that Ginny did.
Oh, really?
I think we were doing a ninja yoga.
The ninja yoga?
We were doing a ninja yoga, and she had us in the power stance before the meditation. It was amazing.
Yeah.
They've done actual research on it, and 2
Yes.
minutes standing like that actually changes your hormones.
Yes.
It
Wow.
lowers
Wow.
all and it raises the testosterone.
Wow. Okay, wonderful.
Okay. So then we come in and we have to use our judgment and discernment, which is our wisdom. So when we're manifesting the good, we have to, discern, okay, now how is this going to come? We have to look at it, because you're going to be flooded with, 100,000 things. So just go to that center space, understand it, see the good, and then just use your own discernment to start to manifest it outward. And then when you begin to bring it outward, you do it with love. Okay? Anytime we manifest, we do it from inward, outward into the outer realm. And then when we're done, let it go. Quit worrying about it. Quit agonizing over it. Just let it be. It is perfect, just as it is.
That old Monday morning quarterback comes in. It sounds so easy to do, to let it go. But sometimes I think that's the most difficult step.
That probably in our conscious state in our unconscious state is the most difficult to let it go. And why is that?
We don't feel it's good enough. We doubt. Sometimes it's that I've put so much energy and so much attention and so much of myself into whatever it is that it's like letting go of one of my children. And that can be really hard. And it's not so much that I don't think it's good enough, although there's that too, but it's like I'm now releasing something that's part of me into the universe, not knowing what's going to happen to it. So it's giving up the control.
Correct.
Yeah. Just got that
So
control.
it's giving up the unworthiness of the control.
Yeah, and for me it is. I'm always thinking, you know, I could change that or I could do that and it would make it better.
Yeah.
I could do this and do that and it would make it better. And it's if I'm going to present this to the universe, I mean, I want the best offering I can possibly have. Therefore, I know I can change it and tweak it and make it better. You know?
But when you're in that state of consciousness, you never move forward. You just stay
Right.
stagnant right there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's no unfoldment.
I've likened it as to birthing a baby, and I have a person that taught me so much, and I appreciate so much. But she holds her creation so close to her chest, she's smothering the baby. And all the power lies in letting go.
Yep.
So if I'm seeing that in her, I know there's always something in me.
Mhm.
But don't smother the baby.
Our possibilities are the
Yes,
possibilities.
yes.
Yeah, well, the babies are the possibilities.
Yeah,
Those are
right.
the divine ideas that still want to be birthed through.
Right. And how
It's-
easy spirit would allow it if you let go.
Right.
Yeah.
Also using the metaphor of birthing a baby, it would be like, okay, it's time, and then being in labor forever. Ew! Oh, God! Ew!
Well, and that's the truth of it.
Yes, that
Because
is. The baby's
it-
never born. Birth that baby. I'm writing about
Well, it has to, in order for the continuation of the flow, the water to flow, you have to let it grow. And you have to let it birth and change and shift.
to whatever it wants to be.
Correct.
Not my limited view.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's funny, Letting Go is the name of the first song I'll be singing tonight.
Can you sing it?
Can you sing it?
Can you sing a little bit?
Taught as a child to hold on. If it matters, better grip it tight. Special things have a way of getting gone, and it breaks your heart for the rest of your life. I've come to know the pain of loss of yesterday, so much so that tomorrow almost never came. I awoke to find sometimes against everything you know, holding on means letting go.
Yeah.
My go-to-meeting debut.
Thank you for sharing. All right. So, everybody, are you complete? Is it time to rest?
Yes.
All right. So, you know, the homework, you guys have basically already all done it. You just, you know, there's a little thing that you have to do at some point, and I don't care when you do it. There's a short expression on resolving a personal challenge using the creative process. And I think you've all already done that this week in some form or way. So just write me a little note that just tells me what that was. Okay? Nothing elaborate, doesn't matter. It can be, you know, just simple, short, an explanation on how you have personally moved through resolving a personal challenge in this way. And if you don't see all the steps in it, that's okay. Just show me the ones that you're aware of, because I guarantee you the rest of them are in there. Keep it simple.
Thank you. Thank you for not being stupid. Thank you for helping. Keep it simple, stupid. Oh,
No, just keep it simple.
yes,
Yeah.
it is. Keep it simple, sweetie. That's right.
Yeah. All right. So our closing prayer for this class. Blessed sweet Spirit, for being with us. As we move in and through, we say thank you, God, for this time together. As we have awakened to our own stories, and mind our own treasures. And thank you for each of us sharing our gifts that make a difference in our lives and in the lives of others. We are grateful for the discoveries and the blessings that we have come forth this week, and those yet to come in the near future, this next moment of life, living fully. We affirm that the Spirit is ever present in us as we continue to walk on this journey. In this truth, we are blessed, and so it is. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, God.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I love you. I bless each of you, and I behold the living Christ as you.
And we love you, and we bless you, and we see the Christ in you.
In you, I see the hope of progress.
And thank you. Thanks for
Yay.
going on.